Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Welcome, everyone, to another Fish Report Live. It is Wednesday night, 12/12/12. Thanks for joining us, everyone. My name's Craig Fissinger. That's Ken Francis. Back in our sound room, got a couple guys by the name of TK and Heavy D helping out with all the technical stuff on this show. And Ken, I was just watching that opening video there, and I just noticed something. There's a lot of state champions in that video.
You know, there really is. I counted 6 state champions, a national champion, and actually, even now, a Heisman Trophy winner.
That's right. Got a Heisman Trophy winner in our.
Yeah, congratulations to Sam Prako out there from Versailles. He's been on our show before, and we've gotten to know Sam pretty well over the last year or two, and just a great honor to a great young man.
Yeah, it sure is. Well, Ken, you know what? We've had a heck of a week in high school basketball already, and the week's only half over.
Yes, we have. We've had a girls' game on last night, a couple boys' games, and first of all, the big news was the Fairlawn Jets broke a 53-game losing streak. So they topped Riverside last night, a big win for the Lady Jets as they finally get off the schneid and get a W. So, good job to them. Had to be a big night over there in Fairlawn. Russia boys got a nice win last night, one that they needed really bad over Aunt Anna, which is never an easy place to play. So a good win for Coach Bremergen and his squad. And Jackson Center, they're proving that they're just picking up right where they left off. They're off to a great start this year. And the Houston Wildcats, their boys team off to a nice start as well.
Yeah, they sure are. And speaking of those red-hot Houston Wildcats, you and I had a little sit-down interview with one of their stars, Jesse Phlipot, earlier this week. We're going to show that a little bit later. And also we're going to be talking a little later live to Fort Loramie Lady Redskins head coach Carla Siegel, who's going to be coming to Russia tomorrow night and taking on Our Lady Raiders. So looking forward to that as well. But before we get to all that, Ken, just like we do every week, let's get to that weekly trivia question. And you kind of teased me this afternoon. You told me you had the greatest trivia question of all time. I've been waiting all day for it. What do you got for me?
All right, well, here it is. Well, you mentioned Fort Loramie, Carla Siegel. We've mentioned Houston. They're led by Mr. Dunk, Jesse Phlipot. So what I thought, Craig, okay, I'm going to combine the Dunks in Fort Loramie, and I'm going to give you a question of who holds the Fort Loramie single-season record for most dunks. Who holds the record for the most dunks in one season by a Fort Loramie Redskin?
They keep such records?
Fort Loramie keeps such a record.
Oh, wow.
It is in their program.
Seen that one. Okay.
Yes, it is. All right. And there's so many great names out there from Fort Loramie that can dunk that I had to put more than 3, and I couldn't even stop at 4, so I got 5 options for you.
Well, okay.
So it's going to be tough.
All right.
These guys could all really throw it down with the best of them. They are Jeff Brandewey. Keep in mind, this was for a single season.
Okay.
Jeff Brandewey, Brad Reithman, Tom Brandewey, Jordan Plyman,
wow,
and Phil Burning.
Oh, well, those are five good names right there. 5 good dunkers, that's for sure.
That's for sure. So you got 1 of 5 chance to get it. Who holds the all-time single-season record at Fort Loramie for most dunks?
Well, I can't even think of one name I would eliminate on that list, Ken. That's 5 good choices, and I'll do my best to answer that by the end of the show.
Any of our listeners out there, if you can help Craig out in any way by tweeting or texting or Ustreaming anything, he could use a lot of help on this one.
All right, Ken. Well, like I said, I'll answer that at the end of the show. But let's start out tonight talking some boys basketball. And there was actually 3 big league games last night. I want to talk about a little bit here first. The first game I want to mention is the game that you and I went to. The Russia Raiders visited Anna last night, and those are 2 schools that are traditionally pretty good in basketball. But actually, last night both of them were desperately looking for their first win, weren't they?
Yes, they were. But, Craig, I think they're both good basketball teams this year. You got to look at Russia's schedule. They've played St. Henry. They've played Jackson Center. They've played at Minster. They played at Bakken. So really tough games. And Anna, I still think they're going to be very strong before the end of the year. They've got some great players there, but it was a great game. Russia had a nice 10-point lead there with about 4 minutes to go. Anna came back, hit some big threes down the stretch, especially Carter Bentzman with about a 28-footer to tie the game with just a few seconds remaining. But Russia prevailed in overtime, played a real strong game, and Russia's getting a lot better every game. I've been real impressed with the way they're gelling as a team. And, Anna, you guys are going to be good yet, so keep fighting.
Yeah, one thing I like to see out of the Raiders in that game was that they had a balanced scoring attack. You had a couple guys with 13, Trevor Sherman and Kyle Poling actually had a big game last night with 13 points. And then you had a couple guys with 12, Treg Francis and your son Nolan had 12. So a real nice balanced scoring attack there, something that is great to see out of the Raiders. So.
Yeah, their backcourt has been really strong this year. They've been getting real good balanced scoring from their backcourt. And the more their post players start to contribute, the better they're going to be.
Yeah. All right. Well, the next game I want to talk about was Botkins at Jackson Center. And Ken, when the night started, there was actually 3 undefeated teams in the Shelby County League. And one thing we knew for sure, one of them wasn't going to be undefeated after last night.
That's right. And it was tough for Botkins to go to Jackson Center and play. Jackson Center, of course, coming off a defending state runner-up as they were last year. And just a solid team again this year. But, Botkins got down by quite a bit, actually clawed their way back into the game late. And, Botkins is they got a really nice team. They got a big group of seniors over there. So the Trojans are going to be around.
All right. And the last game I want to mention is the Houston at Fort Loramie game. And Ken, here's a Houston club that actually started out the season playing at Jackson Center, picked up a loss, and then have been on a 4-game winning streak since then, red hot, playing a Fort Loramie team that actually seems to be getting back to playing some good basketball, after kind of a dismal season last year, like I said, getting back to playing some good basketball. And how'd that one go down?
Well, Houston got behind early to Fort Loramie. Fort Loramie kind of struggled in the middle quarters there. Houston came back and won the game by 5 points. It was a low-scoring contest again, as all the Houston games have been this year. They've been playing great defense. They're holding their opponents to under 40 points a game. And, they had a big night last night from Nate Ritchie. Coach Willoughby actually told us Monday when we were over there that he needed Nate to step it up a little bit in the scoring column, and he did just that last night. Fort Loramie, they're still young. They've only got one senior with any experience on the team, a lot of juniors that play. So the Redskins, they're going to be better this year. And, but they started out the season with a couple non-league games that was good for them. They got a couple nice wins under their belt, but the schedule doesn't get any easier for them either. So, but expect Fort Loramie to fight and claw every night.
Yeah. Well, like you said, we did stop in at Houston on Monday night, had a sit-down talk with one of their stars over there, Jesse Phlipot, and he was actually getting ready for the Fort Loramie game last night. But we asked him a little bit about Fairlawn and what they've got coming up this Friday. So let's check out our conversation with Jesse.
Fish Report live here with Houston Wildcats junior Jesse Phlipot. And Jesse, we got the opportunity to watch you play a couple times last year. And you're a tough matchup for opponents because not only can you shoot well from outside, but at 6'4", you can also play underneath the basket. I want to ask, explain to me where on the floor you feel the most comfortable.
I probably feel the most comfortable playing underneath. It's probably my specialty, but if I have to go outside, do some stuff, I'm capable of doing it. Is that a problem?
You were also a first-team All-County player last year, which means you're probably the number one guy to guard for your opponents. But I want you to explain to me which of your other Wildcat teammates are tough matchups for opponents.
Most of them, all of them. I can't pick one out. They all do their part, make everything tough for the opponents, and do a good job at what they're supposed to be doing.
This Friday you have Fairlawn coming up. It's also your homecoming game. The fact that it's homecoming, does that make it tough to focus on the game, or does that motivate you?
That doesn't really bother me when it comes to the game. It motivates me more than anything. You'll have a big crowd there watching you. It's a special night for a lot of people, so I want to try and get a victory on that night to make everybody happy.
What kind of game are you expecting from the Fairlawn Jets?
I think it'd be a fast-paced game, a quick couple passes, shoot, or get out and run, or stuff like that.
We hear that you might possibly be leading the Shelby County League in dunks this season. Explain to me, when you have the opportunity to dunk a basketball, what does that do for your teammates and for the fans?
I think it hypes everything up, makes the crowd go crazy, gives the teammates some energy, and it just makes things escalate from there and brings good energy to the game.
All right, Ken, I mentioned to Jesse there that he was 6'4", and when he was standing next to me a little bit after our interview, I said, boy, you're taller than 6'4", and he said, actually, Craig, I'm 6'5". So, and I said he's leading the league in dunks. How many dunks does he have this year in 5 games?
Well, he had 1 in each game the first 4 games. He didn't have any last night, so he's got 4 dunks in 5 games, and he's a very athletic young man, and yeah, he is tall, he's lanky, and he can play the whole floor. So, other teams, he poses a big matchup problem.
Yeah, he sure does. All right, well, Ken, the guys flashed up those standings a little bit before. Let's take a look at them again one more time, and why don't you run through the standings real quick for the viewers?
Real quick, Jackson Center and Fairlawn both with no losses yet in the league, and Houston and Botkins both with 1 loss. Russia a couple games back with 2 losses, and Fort Loramie and Anna both looking for their first wins of the year in league play. Look for these standings. That they're. I still feel anybody on the bottom there can beat anybody on the top, and it's going to be a really tight race all year. I don't expect Jackson Center or Fairlawn to hang a 0 in that loss column all year, because it's just too balanced of a league this year. On any given night, anybody can beat anybody.
Yeah, they sure can. And things are starting to take shape there a little bit, Ken. But these boys don't get much rest, and they're back at it again Friday night. Big schedule coming up Friday night. Let's run through that.
Big schedule Friday night is right. You've got in a non-league game that I think will be very interesting. You got the high-scoring Lehman Cavaliers traveling to Jackson Center. And some tight league games here. Anna traveling over to Botkins. And I look for Anna, honestly, to get their first win. I know Botkins has got a nice team, but I really feel Anna is getting real close to gelling over there. They played a lot better against Russia the other night. And I just think Anna could win one over there. Fairlawn at Houston. I think this is going to be a great basketball game. You've got the high-scoring Jets going into Houston. Houston's only given up less than 40 points a game. And it's homecoming, like Jesse told us before, so that'll be a real interesting matchup. And then the old backyard rivalry between Fort Loramie and Russia. Throw out the records. This game, it's always close. It's always a packed gymnasium, and it's just going to be a lot of fun Friday night. Fort Loramie is going to be coming in hungry for their first league win. Russia coming off a nice win the other night at Anna. So it's going to be a packed house on Russia.
Yeah, it sure is. Both you and I have both grew up with that rivalry. We know what it's all about, and looking forward to a good night there. So, all right, Ken, well, that's going to do it for our boys basketball talk, and we're going to take a little break here in just a second. But last week, we actually debuted the Russia High School cheerleaders. Tonight, we're going to debut the Anna High School cheerleaders and give you a chance to check out their halftime performance last night. So enjoy this, and we'll be back in a little bit.
raised by a single mother in the heart of the Midwest. She grew up, didn't have too much trouble, cause her mom worked hard for everything they had. She never knew her father, only knew that he was gone. She would wake to home all the crying and an empty 13 with open fails. She was gonna leave this town, but she fell in love, had a son. Now she's paying rent on an old farmhouse. Got a job in a factory downtown, pushing out on wheels. Now it's porch cars and blue bandanas and weekend streams for you and me. All the mornings they all dancing on this side of town. She likes to smoke, takes a toll, it's just another day of a fairy tale. Oh, it's just black coffee.
All right, welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live, everyone. And Ken, what'd you think of the Anna cheerleaders? Did okay?
They did a great job.
All right. Well, listen, before the break, we were talking some boys basketball, changing gears now, talking some girls basketball. Only one non-league game so far this week, but as we mentioned at the top of the show, it was a big one, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Quite a game the last night, and one actually for the record books for the Fairlawn Lady Jets. They finally snapped a 53-game losing streak. Their last win was back in 2010 over the Bakkens Lady Trojans. Last night they clipped off a good Riverside team. And, just a big win for Fairlawn and their girls program.
All right. Well, since they got a win now, let's take a look at those standings and see how things are sitting tonight.
Well, the girls' standings are starting to take a very clear shape. And Craig, as I look at these girls' standings, I don't see a whole lot as far as the top four teams changing whatsoever throughout the year. They may flip-flop a little bit, but the top three especially I think are going to be really good, tough to beat. The bottom three, I think the league is very heavy weighted near the top. And Anna obviously is going to be very strong, very tough to beat, as is Fort Loramie. But Rushie's going to be right there with them, and you never know about Bakkens either. So, the league's starting to take shape, and interesting things will happen.
Yeah, it's still early in the season, but those Anna Rockets do look like they're going to be tough to beat. But I know one thing's for sure: they'll get everyone's best shot. So let's take a look at the big Thursday night coming up, and then run through the schedule of games tomorrow night.
Well, Jackson Center takes the night off of league play. They travel to Indian Lake. Anna will be going to Bakkens. Coach Don Mack, good luck to your Lady Trojans over there. I will be cheering you on from over here. And Fairlawn will be traveling to Houston, Craig, in a game that honestly Fairlawn might make it 2 in a row. Don't be surprised Fairlawn makes it 2 wins in a row. And then the big game Thursday night, Fort Loramie will be traveling to Rushie in a big Shelby County League battle right there that we're going to talk a little bit more about here in just a minute.
All right. Well, Ken, one thing about the Redskins, I've noticed that they're always real good about applying pressure. And, they kind of remind me of an Anna team where, on Anna, you got Erica Huber running around pressure in the basketball. With Loramie, it's a Darian Rose running around pressure in the basketball. I want to ask you, what do you do to handle a team's pressure like that?
Well, you're exactly right. Rushie's got to handle Loramie's pressure if they're going to stay in the game. And I think Rushie's team this year is capable of handling that pressure. They've got a freshman guard there in Lauren Heaton that is extremely fast. And to be honest with you, she might be the fastest girl on the floor tomorrow night, which is very unusual for when these two teams get together. Rushie's got a great height advantage on the Redskins, and I think it's going to be a great basketball game. Loramie's very tough. They play very physical, and I think as the Lady Raiders continue to grow into that playing physical stage, I think it's going to be a great matchup between two really good lady basketball teams.
All right, well, we're going to talk to a lady right now that knows a lot about those two teams, and that is the head coach of the Lady Redskins, Carla Siegel. Carla, thanks for joining us tonight, and welcome to Fish Report Live.
Hey, thank you, Craig. Thank you, Ken. It's nice to be on.
All right. First of all, congrats to a great start to the season already. You're 4-1, and I want to mention that that 3 of your first 5 games have been against Marion Local, New Knoxville, and Miami East. 3 of really the tougher teams you play this season. And I want to ask you, do you like playing teams like that early in the season, or would you rather play them later in the season in February when you get closer to the tournament?
Well, that's a great question, Craig. But to be honest, I like playing those kind of games all the time. It's good to spread them out throughout the year, the beginning of the year, the middle, and the end. It's a good measuring stick for us. The girls come to practice, they work hard, you put in new things, and it's always a good test to see if those things are going to work in a game. So we like our schedule. Yes, those first three games were quite tough, but I think that we did a pretty good job getting through those.
All right, now Ken and I talked a couple weeks ago about your tough preseason news when you found out that your senior captain Reggie Brandaway was lost for the year with an ACL injury, and I know you and I talked about it, Coach, and you told me you kind of challenged your other post players, and you I think you told me that you told them that collectively you thought each of them had something inside of them that that if they worked together they could replace what was missing with Reggie. And well, we're 5 games into the season. I want to ask you, how are those post players doing?
Well, I think for the most part they're doing the best that they can. The first 2 games, Marion Local and New Knoxville, I thought Paige, Renee, and Amanda, all being returning players, did a good job stepping up and hitting some big baskets and playing some good defense and giving us quality minutes. And Kelly Turner got brought up when Reggie got hurt. And so she's still learning. She's a sophomore. She's got a lot more to learn, and she'll make the step from the JV. But I think we're doing okay. We ran into, a buzzsaw the other night with Miami East. They were just bigger than us and more talented in the inside. So there's some things that we need to do. As you said, Reggie's with her ACL. She is going to try to come back. We're looking about 3 weeks out. She's going to go ahead and try to play on her injured leg, her injured knee. But I'm looking forward to her coming back. Her leadership, her experience will definitely help the younger girls.
Hi, Coach. This is Ken. Tomorrow night, you're bringing your Lady Redskins over to Russia to face basically the same group of girls that you saw 3 times last year, including the regional semifinals. While the Russia team hasn't changed a whole lot, your team has. What concerns do you have with the Lady Raiders tomorrow night?
Well, I'd like to point out, on top of what you said, yes, we played them 3 times last year. And I think if you ask their coach over there, we played them 4 times this summer. So I feel like we're practically family right now. But my concerns for the game, and I think it's a concern everybody has in the league with Russia right now, is their length. So tall, so long, and their transition game is quite good. They're faster this year than they were last year, and I think they're getting more adapted to Coach King's style. And I think every game, they go out, they look stronger and stronger. So we're definitely going to have to work on pushing the ball up and down the floor and try to run with them. And we have to make sure that we have some good ball fakes and some good fake passes to get around those long arms.
Yeah, you mentioned the speed of the Lady Raiders. I've seen them play a few times this year, and you're exactly right there. The biggest thing I notice about Russia this year is that they do have a lot more team speed. So I think that's going to be a big boost for them, and to see if they can handle your intense defense. So coming into the game, Coach, you're sitting at 249 career wins. Your next victory is going to be number 250. So whenever that game win might happen, I'd like to be one of the first to congratulate you. You've done an outstanding job with the Redskin program, so good job.
Well, thank you, Ken. I appreciate that.
Looking back at your wins, Coach, give me 1 or 2 that really stand out in the past of your last, of all your wins. Give me 1 or 2 that stand out.
I think I'm going to have to go back to maybe 2008, original semifinals. We were playing Lehman. Our record was 14-10, and they had beat us by 18 points on our home court early in the season, and we turned around and pulled off the upset. They were 22-2 at that time, so I think that was a huge win. And then we're going to go back to year 2010 when we played Ottoville in the regional semifinals, and they were undefeated, ranked number 1 in the state. And I don't think anybody had us winning that game except for the girls in the uniform, our fans in the stands, and the coaching staff. So those are two of my most memorable wins.
Well, I'll have to admit, I listened to that Ottoville game. I have to admit that was one great basketball game, and even being from Russia, I took interest in that one. So that had to be a special win for you. Looking back in your day, Coach, you were quite a player, former Shelby County League Player of the Year. But as you look back at the ability of players back in your day versus some of Shelby County League's best players today, whether you're talking Kylie Wilson from Russia, Darian Rose from Fort Loramie, how do you feel the athletes today are different from the athlete a few years back?
Well, thank you for the nice compliment there, but there's no doubt in my mind that Kylie Wilson and Darian Rose are much better players than I was back in the day. I think the game today is much more faster, much more aggressive. A lot of the girls throughout the county and in the area, just fundamentally are so much more sounder, and their knowledge of the game, that because the speed is so much faster, there's so much more things that they can do. I would love to think that I could, if I was lucky enough to play in this kind of tempo game, that I would be a good player still. But it's fun watching these girls play.
All right, Coach, last question, and we'll let you go. Now, we want to take a little credit over here in Russia for your success at Fort Loramie. and not because you've beaten us a few times, but because one of your assistant coaches actually lives over here, and that is Tracy Schultze. I know she's a Fort Loramie alum, but we're happy to have her over here in Russia now. And just tell us, I mean, what do your assistants do that have contributed to your success over the years?
Yes, Tracy. She's living over there in the blue and gold community, but luckily for us, her blood still bleeds red and black, and we're glad that we have her on our staff. Tracy, along with all the other coaches, they all bring something different to my coaching staff, and I know that I'm the one that gets credited with wins and losses, but it's the whole entire staff. Tracy brings knowledge. She played here at Loramie, had a very successful career, and then went on to college and played. And she brings a lot of that to the girls, talking about point guard mentality. My other assistant coach is Erin Turner, and she played with Tracy here at Fort Loramie. And Erin, she as a great practice coach, working with girls on their shooting, does a lot of things for me that I need done that I can't do during the day. She's over there at the high school with the girls. Phil and Don are my JV and freshman coaches. They work really hard with the girls, build their fundamentals, get the girls to enjoy the game. And I can't forget my junior high coaches, Bill Courtney and Mike Anthony. They've been around for so long, but they really get those girls engaged into our philosophy, what we want to do at the high school level. So all the assistant coaches bring so much, and they're constantly helping me, scouting reports. They're helping me with game time decisions, what's happening on the floor, adjustments that we need to make. So, and, the success of our program is not just because of one person, it's because of many people.
All right, listen, hey, that is great stuff, Coach. We want to thank you for taking a few minutes to join us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow night.
All right, thank you, guys. I appreciate all your support.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Ken.
All right, that was the head coach of the Lady Redskins, Carla Siegel, Ken, and before the break, before we got her on, I was talking to you about that pressure, and I think it's going to be a good battle, and I think whether Russia can handle that Loramie pressure is going to be have a lot to do with who wins the game.
I've seen Fort Loramie play several times under Coach Siegel, and I got to give credit where credit's due here, Craig, and they just play with some superior intensity. They pressure the ball. Their defensive skills over there are just phenomenal. And it wins them games. I mean, you look at their program, you look at the dynasty, really, that they've built over there in Fort Loramie with Coach Siegel. And, give credit where credit's due. Coach, you do a great job. And that defensive intensity, you're right, Craig. If Russia can break it down, if Russia can break down that defense, look for one great basketball game tomorrow night.
Let's go back into the sound room. I know you guys are familiar with this rivalry and both those teams. You got any comments on tomorrow night's matchup?
Yeah, Craig and Ken, I think it doesn't matter who you're playing in the Shelby County League, you got to come ready to play. Rushia's still a relatively young team with a lot of sophomores and, as you said, Lauren Heaton and the freshmen. They ran into a senior-laden team, a heavy team there tonight against the Anna Rockets, and I think they got their eyes opened about how physical the Shelby County League really is. And they came back against Marion Local, and they stepped it up a bit, played a little bit more aggressive, happy to see that. And they got to come out and be ready to play physically hard every night, and Fort Loramie is going to be a real good test for them.
All right, that's good stuff, guys, and that's going to do it for our girls basketball talk. But Ken, we can't end the night without talking about I know the guys in the sound room, their favorite subject, concession stands.
You got to talk to concession stands.
And they had the opportunity to visit Anna's concession stand the other night, and I know they have a review of that stand, and I'll let you guys take it away.
Yeah, guys, we were up at Anna for the girls' game last Thursday, and took a little time to go in the concession stand. I was able to pick up a nice big bag of popcorn and a nice big hot dog. A little pricey, but a lot more than you're used to getting. And I got to give them some kudos on the hot dog. It wasn't one of those microwave things. They got the old school rotisserie going, get the juices all rolling in there, and cooked up really nice. So it was a good concession stand, and I think Daryl had some other stuff he had there.
Yeah, I took a look at the chicken sandwich. It looked pretty tasty. It was priced right at $2. The concession stand, the lady that served it, very friendly. She knew what she was doing. Large portions on the chicken sandwich. Could have went with a dill pickle slice on it. Didn't have that, but for the most part, Tim and I came through TK with on a score of 1 to 10. We came in with the Anna concession stand coming in at a 7. So nice job, Anna.
Solid 7.
Guys, I'm trying to visualize what you're talking about. We got any pictures? Give me an idea what we're talking about here with the hot dogs and the oh, there you got one.
There we go. That's a nice looking hot dog.
That's a nice dog.
That's a nice rotisserie dog.
And,
You got a chicken sandwich? There it is. Right there. You do have a
Sandwich,
picture of the chicken sandwich.
and I talked about the bag of popcorn. That's a big bag.
It was $1, but it was a big bag.
Yeah, and you can't go away mad when you get that much popcorn for $1.
That's true. That's true.
Solid 7.
All right, guys. Well, it's hard to top that, so I guess that's probably going to do it for us here tonight. But great report, and we look forward to future concession stand reports from you guys. So, all right, like I said, that's going to do it for us tonight. Ken, want to say special thanks to our guest Jesse Phlipot for sitting down with us the other night. And what do we got?
Trivia.
Oh, trivia. That's right. I forgot the trivia question. The most important, the most fun thing of the night.
That's right.
Let's get back to that trivia question. Give me the question again.
Okay, who holds the Fort Loramie record for most dunks during a single season? Is it Jeff Brandewey, Brad Reisman, Tom Brandewey, Jordan Plyman, or Phil Burning?
5 great answers there. I just
Ken or Craig, somebody tweeted in Carla Siegel.
Carla Siegel. Well, I tell you what, I actually got a great chance to watch Carla and Tom play in their careers. I don't remember Carla having really any dunks, but Tom, I saw a few from Tom, and I talked to Phil Burning the other night. We were talking about glory days, and he didn't mention any dunks, so I'm going to eliminate him as well. I'm going to have to go with Jeff Brandewey. I know he played on some good teams, saw a couple of his dunks, but my guess is going to be Jeff Brandewey.
Craig, you know what? You're a tough one to beat. The right answer is Jeff Brandewey. Listen to this. This is official stats out of the Fort Loramie program. Jeff Brandewey had 21 dunks during the 92-93 season. He had 21 dunks. Interesting fact, Brad Reisman actually holds the career record for 25 dunks during his career, dating back from 1996 to 2000. So Jeff Brandewey had 21 in one season. He must not have had very many of the other seasons.
I guess not.
Because 25 is the career record. So good stuff there from Fort Loramie sports program.
All right. Well, I'm thinking Jesse Phlipot over there at House has got a little catching up to do if he wants to catch the Loramie record.
He's got a couple extra regular season games, though, to get it this year.
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, like I said earlier, that's going to do it for us tonight. Ken, again, special thanks to Jesse for sitting down with us Monday night. Special thanks to Coach Siegel for coming on live with us just a few minutes ago. And Ken and I and the crew will be back again next week. Going to try to slip one more show in before we take a holiday break, and we'll have a lot of good guests and a lot of good talk next week. So that's, like I said, going to do it for us tonight. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great rest of the week, and we hope to see you in the gym sometime.
From Studio F in Russia, Ohio, for Ken Francis, Craig Kissinger, and TK, this is Heavy D, signing off, saying good night and good fishing.